Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. We're doing a Walking Dead reaction. I'm Brad.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is Brooke's first time watching The Walking Dead. I have watched all the seasons so far up to this point. I think right now we're just at the end point of season 11. Brooke hasn't seen any of it, and it's taken me over a year and a half to convince her to want to watch the Walking Dead. She's not really into zombies or anything like that. We went ahead and watched the first season already, and we kind of realized midway through maybe we should just record it because I really liked her reactions and she's really into the show. So
I am. It's so crazy. I didn't think I was gonna like it. It didn't seem like my kind of show, and I love it, and I can't get enough of it, and I'm so excited to keep watching. But we thought before we keep watching, we would go ahead and talk a little bit about what we thought about season 1 and 2.
Yeah, so we're going to show reactions from season 2, episode 9 on, but we've watched from season 1 to season episode 8 so far. So anyway, let's get to talking about a little bit about season 1 and what you like so far. What did you think, if you can remember this far, what did you think the series was going to be like based on? You didn't know anything about the series going in.
I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew it was like a zombie type thing, but I thought it was going to be like almost like a cheap horror movie with, you know, the like and like I didn't know the storyline, so I didn't know that it was like an infection and a virus, and it was, you know, people, like that this was happening to people.
That it was more of a drama.
Yeah, exactly.
More about the people and character development than it was just about, cheap zombies.
Zombies don't exist in this universe, so it's not an already known thing. I mean, it really is a drama. It's not just like the scary zombies. So, and I really like that, because if it was zombies, I feel like it might hold your interest for a little while, but it's a drama, and it's not. It's really about the will to survive and what they need to do to survive. And one thing I think is really interesting is that the people all have different backgrounds, and their backgrounds, whether it's their former job they used to have or where they lived or whatever, they all kind of have skills that they have from their previous life before all of this happened that they can use to kind of get together and like work together. Zombies don't exist in this universe, so it's not an already known thing.
And so we'll go through just real quickly through the. It's not quite the same since you are caught up all the way to season 2, episode 8, so you kind of know what happens. But if we can kind of remember, we'll go through season 1. So the first episode was Days Gone By. So Rick wakes up from his coma. First zombie we see is the little girl getting the bear. What are your thoughts on that, if you can remember?
I thought that was really scary because I really didn't know anything about the show yet. And I was like, oh, he's gonna help this little girl. And then I felt like, no, run, get away from her. So it was a really scary opener. But then the scenes where he's shot and is in the hospital, those are equally scary, just for different reasons. But I think they did a really good job of really drawing your interest in right away.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think about Rick and Shane's relationship in season 1? So in season 1, they were in the car and they got he came to visit him in the hospital. But so when Rick wakes up, that we see the dead flowers and things like that next to him.
That was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he's isolated.
It really creeped me out that he opened his eyes and he was like, oh, you're here. And then you realize, no, he's either remembering or hallucinating from something that was weeks ago, because the flowers that he saw him bringing in just then were actually old dead flowers. That really creeped me out. Like, I had goosebumps at that.
And then so after that, we also are introduced to Morgan, Morgan and his son.
I'm still waiting for them to come back.
Yeah, we're still waiting for them to come back.
Hopefully they will.
Found them to be interesting characters.
Yeah.
So
that part made me, like, I cried. I mean, I didn't like cry, but I guess we can. I mean, it's spoilers, but we can talk about it, right? Cause
Yeah, we can talk about.
We assume that you guys already.
We can talk about spoilers
Okay.
up through all the entire. We watched the entire season 1, so we can talk, and
Okay.
a little of 2, so we can talk about that. But
Well,
we'll talk about just season 1 right now.
When he was trying to shoot his wife, he was already turned by this virus, and he couldn't do it, and he was trying, and I was just like, I mean, I didn't like cry, but I really got teary-eyed at that. I thought that was so hard, and I thought the show already made me kind of, I was like with it. I was all in,
Yeah.
So.
And then we got to we'll go to episode 2. So that was Guts. This is when Rick finds the new group, and we're introduced to. So he gets stuck in the tank, and he hears I guess that was the end of episode 1. He gets stuck in the tank, and he's swarmed. Or was that the end of episode? I can't remember now. But anyway, that was
the tank part was scary.
The tank part was scary. Yeah. So yeah, and then he sees the dead soldier in there, which they're.
Oh, that was gross.
Yeah, he sees
because he had to like get the gun or whatever it was off his body. And,
yeah. Yeah, and then the poor horse. We know what happens to him.
I'm still mad that he didn't tell me that was coming, and I just thought the horse was gonna like get away and be with them, and then all of a sudden, bye horse.
Yeah, the horse.
And I felt like you have to warn me. If people die, whatever, but if an animal dies, I need warning.
Right.
That makes me sound terrible, but that's how I want warning if something happens to the poor little defenseless animal.
Then, so then we were introduced to the first character, which is, of the new group, which is Glenn. Glenn with the guy with the hat that's runs around everywhere. And he helps Rick, and and then we meet the rest of the group with Merle.
Oh boy.
So, what are your thoughts about Merle?
Well, he hasn't come back. Like where we are right now, because we're in season 2. We're partway through season 2.
Yeah.
Right? So he hasn't come back. We've seen him in
we saw him in a
flashback.
flashback.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But he hasn't come back, so I don't know what he's doing, how he is. The hand really grossed me out. So he chopped off his own hand to get away from where he had been cuffed up on the roof, where they handcuffed him on the roof. So he chopped off his hand and he got away, and it was really, really disgusting. But he hasn't come back. So I would think he would have bled out or something, but I guess he knows what to do to stop the, going into shock and bleeding and all that. So I assume he's still alive. I don't know, but he hasn't come back yet. He's not a sympathetic character. I hate to say it, but you kind of feel like you don't really care that much if he died because he's so just not a nice guy.
Right.
So, but I feel like they did that on purpose. You know what I mean? They can't have everyone be lovable in the show. You have to have the people that are not nice.
Yeah, and how did you feel about Rick handcuffing him to the roof? Would you have done the same thing, or do you think he was a little out of line handcuffing him at that point, and not letting him free right away?
I mean, I didn't think he was out of line handcuffing him, but the problem is, I don't think anyone expected that they were gonna have to get away really quick, so that caused a problem. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done, because I feel like
he didn't know him yet. He did, and
no.
He just attacked. T-Dog was the guy he attacked in the group. So it was a tough choice.
And it's kind of hard because, the whole time, I don't know what I thought about it, but the whole time I just kept feeling like, you guys have enough problems. Stop having little fights with each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you have this big enemy and you're trying to survive, it doesn't do anything to have fights within your group. But he was a hothead. I mean, he's really a hothead.
Yeah, he was a hothead.
I don't think they could calm him down.
Yeah,
so
he's unpredictable, and that's the worst thing to have in this environment.
Right.
Is that anyone that's unpredictable. You just don't want that a little bit. But so tell it to the frogs. We meet the group that's at the camp, the second half of the group, and we're introduced to Shane and Lori in they're in a loving scene.
I didn't catch on yet that was his wife.
Yeah.
So for a minute, I just thought oh, she's getting together with this guy, and I thought it was Shane's son at first,
right?
Because I didn't know, he doesn't look like him, but I just figured it was his son. And
you mean Rick's son?
No, I mean, I thought it
Oh,
was...
Shane. Oh, Carl. Sorry. Oh, Carl's son. Yeah, you
Right,
thought
I
Carl was
messed...
Shane's son. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I didn't
No.
explain that very well. But yeah, I didn't really catch on to what was happening yet. So then when I did, I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no.
That's not gonna turn out too well.
No.
And I believe, I think that was the same episode where Rick, he finds the group. We kind of skipped over the guts scene. I forgot to get there. So to get there, they had to put on the guts. What did you think about that?
It made me feel sick.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately feel sick.
And I feel like, that would...
Like, it just...
you got to think that you're putting infected, rotted guts on you. That could get you sick, and that could get you infected. So, I mean, it was...
I get that the alternative they thought was like, well, what if you die if you don't... Like, they're going to pick up on your smell if you don't have these on you. So, I get why they did it, but I just felt like, could I have done that? You know?
Because I'm assuming the smell is overpowering, I'm sure. So...
Well, yeah, if anybody who's ever seen like a dead animal or like a dead rodent or roadkill or something, like just imagine the smell like a million times stronger.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Glenn finds that cool car and they get away. So they drive up to, and they find the camp, and Rick finds Carl and Lori, and then then the big reveal, I guess, that there's a little triangle there, because you can see on Shane's face he's a little not happy about it, even though that's his best friend. He doesn't seem that happy that he's alive, kind of a fake happiness. We also are introduced to I think I'm not sure if this is the same one or not, but we get introduced to the abusive husband and the lady Carol, that with the short hair.
Yeah.
So
I felt so bad for her, and I mean, I know that's reality for a lot of people. There's a lot of people in relationships like that, and you just wish that she would see that she doesn't need to be treated like that, and that she could leave him. But then I know there's a lot of emotions wrapped up in that, and so I don't judge her for not being able to leave him, because I mean, I know in real situations when that happens, like a lot of times someone will plan to leave and it takes them, attempt after attempt after attempt to finally leave. So I don't judge her for not leaving him, but I just wish that she would see that she shouldn't be treated that way.
Yeah.
And then especially since did they have just the one daughter, or were there more? I forget.
They had the one daughter.
Okay.
It was just one.
I mean, since we've already seen where he's...
Yeah.
It's not like a spoiler. He's gone, and I was like, well, I don't feel bad he's gone.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
But
that
was hard to
watch.
That
was near the end. Yeah, the end of season 1.
But that was hard to watch, because you just hate for anyone to be treated like that.
How'd you feel about Shane's reaction? Remember when he beat him up? After you were glad about that?
Yeah, I was like, I don't feel sorry for
you. Didn't feel sorry? Yeah. No. Yeah, and he deserved it.
Right.
Yeah, totally. So.
And I know that she wasn't happy about, his wife wasn't happy about it, because no matter what he's doing, she still loves him, but I was glad that someone was standing up.
Andrea and Amy. So we know later on what happens to Amy in the final attack. Used her as a character, and they
I wasn't expecting her death. I didn't think that was gonna happen.
Yeah, so quickly. And then also the one guy that was digging the graves, we knew he was up to something kind of weird. There was something going on with him. But
I had this weird thought that maybe he was planning somehow to kill people, or that he had, I don't know, was making the walkers come to get them on purpose, like an attack. I don't know why he would have been doing that, but that's kind of what I thought at first.
Yeah, when I first watched it,
hallucinating.
I wasn't really sure. I almost forgot. We were introduced to Merle's brother in this one, who was really angry that they left Merle on the roof.
Of course, she would be angry about that.
Yeah. How do you feel about Merle's brother? His name's Daryl. How do you feel about
Daryl? I feel sorry for Daryl a lot, because even though Merle isn't nice, I feel like that might be his only family or something. He mentioned, there's another time where he mentioned he was alone in the woods, he was lost, and I think, like, I don't remember if one of his parents was, like,
That was season
drugs
2.
or the other one was...
But yeah, but that's okay.
Well, the reason I
Yeah.
thought about it is because once you hear stuff like that, it makes you think for every person, there's a reason why they are the way that they are. And for him, he has like really hard edges, and he seems not nice a lot of times. But I think he had a really bad backstory, and also I know this is later, but I think that he kind of showed his softer side when he was looking for Sophia. And I think that he cared about her because of like his own difficult upbringing, and we don't know a lot about his upbringing, but I just remember the part about how he was in the woods lost for like 9 days or something, and he said no one was looking for him, like no one knew he was gone or no one cared or something. And I just thought, you know, like it's easy to say, oh, this is a horrible person, but sometimes you want to know, you know, I mean, like I said, everybody's the way they are because of things that happened to them in the past, and it doesn't excuse him from being like a horrible person. If he's mean to someone, he's mean to someone. But it did make me feel for him, is what I mean.
I agree. We had the attack on the camp, and then we see Amy die, and then Andrea is staying with her, and she draws the gun on Rick because they want to put her down so she doesn't turn. And what are your thoughts up to that point with Andrea and Rick and and Amy turning?
I kind of wondered why she was waiting so long to get rid of Amy. I wouldn't have wanted to see her come back. You know, like I would have wanted to.
I agree.
She came back. But I also understand she had a hard time saying goodbye, and she did say that's my only family.
Because it's still her. That was her only family.
And I thought if I was in that situation, I don't know that I could have been the one to shoot her. Like if it was my sister, I might have felt like someone else has to. Like I can't shoot my sister. You know what I mean? But then I thought, on the other hand, she might feel like doing it was an act of love in the circumstances. I mean, obviously shooting someone is not an act of love, but in the situation that they're in the show, you might feel like it is kind of an act of love to put them out of that misery, I guess. I don't know. It was a sad scene, but I was glad that she did it because I was afraid she was going to try to hold on. Like, you know that the person can't come back and be themselves. But I thought for a minute that that's what she was trying to do. Like, no, she'll come back and be herself. Kind of like delusional thinking because she just wants her to be okay because it's her sister. So I was glad that she wasn't trying to hold on to her, but it was really sad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So then after that, they leave, and they leave Jim, the guy digging the graves. He was bit.
That was so sad.
Yeah, and they leave him behind. I guess that, you know, he was, again, tied up to a tree, kind of like he was earlier when they were trying to calm him down.
Was he tied? I thought he was just laying there, like...
I thought they tied... I could be wrong. Thought they tied him because he knew he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to off himself before he turned. He didn't want them to leave the gun with him, though, remember? Oh, I guess not.
I thought that was weird. Like, I mean, it's like, what do you do? It's a bad choice, but I feel like it would be better to just put yourself out of that misery. Don't let yourself die and come back, because I feel like that would be worse.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be walking around that way.
I agree. Yeah. And they also, the other family leaves. There was a couple and their 2 kids. They went their separate ways because they had family somewhere. I'm blanking on his name now, but
I know, I can't think of what it was, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and the two other kids. There was not many kids. So.
I know, I felt bad for the kids because I'm like, now you have no friends.
Yes,
sorry.
Exactly. So they went their separate ways, and then Rick and the gang, they go on their way to the CDC. So we see them get to the CDC. Originally, at first, the guy doesn't look like he's gonna let them in, and then he lets them in. What were you thinking? Well, I remember when we were watching it, you kind of remarked that the CDC doesn't feel like the real CDC would really look like that.
Yeah,
like it looked a little more.
It was almost like this, like Star Trek version of like the computer system that manages the whole building, and they talk to it, and you have like stuff coming out of the walls.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it was like the sci-fi version of what it really would be.
Yeah.
But I kind of hated the plot with the CDC because
I wasn't a big fan of it either.
Because, I mean, I get why they went. I totally get why they went, because you would think, okay, the CDC would know what to do. And
they're right there in Atlanta, so it made sense. That's where
right.
the CDC headquarters is, so that made sense.
It felt like a waste of time because they come in and they're like, oh, we get to take a shower and it's great, and like we have normal housing and they're happy. And then it just, like, he didn't tell them. Like, I don't know. It just felt like it was like a waste of time.
It did feel like a waste. I felt like it was kind of there to give that example and show the viewers what happens when you turn, like when he was walking them through it and found out it was his wife.
Yeah. But I feel like we kind of already knew that. Like,
yeah.
We didn't officially know how the
like
virus
the
worked,
medical, yeah.
But I feel like we kind of
had an idea.
Didn't know how it worked, I guess.
Yeah. And then in that, the one scene that when Shane confronts Lori and he gets a little like, yeah, that was a little creepy.
That was. It didn't seem like him. Like, it seemed like him, but like he was changing. Like it was him, but it wasn't him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It really shocked me. And I thought that we were going to see him assault her.
Yes.
That's what I thought was going to happen. And I was really like on edge, like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? So that's what it seemed like was going to happen.
Yeah, I did too. He had that look in his eye for sure, yeah. And we thought that was going to happen. And then and it kind of shows a little bit about his character, because you're feeling like, you know, okay, I kind of feel for him a little bit. He thought he had a new family, and then the guy comes back. Okay, I can see why he might be jealous, but then. And he also he takes out the abuser, what's his name? And you're like, good for him, you know, he deserved it. But then he does that, and you're kind of like, you know.
Well, and you know what? I didn't realize why she was so mad at him, but I didn't realize why Lori was so mad at him, because I didn't realize that he had told Lori that Rick was dead.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just like, hey, we had to leave the hospital. We couldn't take him. We don't know how he is. I didn't realize that he let her believe that he was dead. So of course she had like grieved and tried to move on the best she could.
Yeah.
So the fact that he basically was like, yeah, I'm gonna step into this new family after making it like, oh, he's gone now. Like, I don't know. I kind of lost some sympathy for him.
Right.
In a sense.
And then let's go to the last episode of season 1, and that is where we blow up the CDC. We find out the CDC guy, whatever his name is, he becomes kind of a villain.
Yeah,
in a way. He's kind of not a villain, but he kind of is, because he's not letting them leave. You know, he's sort of a passive aggressive villain, I guess.
That was really bizarre.
And but they do manage to get out. They blow it up with a grenade that I guess Carol found or something off of Rick. But the big conflict there is we had two people three actually, because Andrea wanted to kill herself, and then I forgot the other lady's name.
Of course you did, because no one cares about her.
None of the characters even cared about her.
We were like, what is going on? Like, we all care that Andrea wants to kill herself, but that other lady, sure, go ahead. Like, what was that about?
They didn't even I think she was hugged once, and that was it. And they just kind of said, it's like they didn't really care about her. I felt bad for the character,
right.
and I also the actress a little bit who played her. It's like they didn't even care about your character. They didn't care they were killing you off.
I know, I really I would question the writers, like, what was that even about? Because
well, they needed a death, and I felt like, you know, they were, you know, I don't know.
I just feel like it was so bizarre the way they handled that. I mean, it was like they literally just walked out and left her, and they didn't really care. But then I can't remember his name, but the guy that stayed in to save
Dale.
him.
Yeah, okay. I was about to get to that. Andrea and Dale's relationship. Yeah.
So Dale is like, I'm going to save you, or he won't leave. He says, I'm with you. If you kill yourself, I kill myself too.
Yeah.
So But no one did that for the other lady.
Yeah, I know he was only trying to save Andrea. But now Andrea and Dale did have a little bit of a relationship. They go in the comic books. They go a little more in depth with their relationship. In fact, in the comic books, it's a little bit. They have an even deeper relationship. But they kind of suggested that they had a really good friendship already. So. Which they did, and it's like a father-daughter relationship, and so I think that's what was really showing in this. And I guess they didn't have that kind of relationship with the other lady. I'll remember her name later.
Still, I feel the whole show though. You have to admit, the whole show. There's this arbitrary line drawn with who we care about and who we don't. Yeah. So you have, if someone dies and we cared about them, we bury them. If we don't know who they are, we just burn them. And then we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's this arbitrary
we get on that in season 2 a little bit.
Who they are, we just burn them. And then we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's this arbitrary
we get on that in season 2 a little bit. So that at the end of season 1, just going off of season 1, who we've seen, not going off of anything we've seen in season 2, what character do you like the most? Which character do you like the most, or like do you like are find the most interesting? Like you're just kind of like want to know more about their story.
So I'm not remembering everyone's names yet, but the lady that had the abusive husband.
Carol.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I think that she's really interesting. I'd like to know more about her. I'd like to know. I'd like to see that kind of growth from her, where she realizes her worth and expects to be treated better.
Mm-hmm.
I think also, I liked Shane a lot, and now I don't.
Yeah, he kind of goes in between.
I don't know.
So that's kind of when I first watched it. I kind of like Glenn a little bit. I followed, of course, Rick. He's a star, but he also, I did not like. I wanted to like Shane, but I started to not like Shane as a character in this. Even though the CDC guy was a bit annoying, not letting anybody leave, Shane was still in my mind kind of the guy that I just didn't really trust that much. So
yeah, I feel like I can't tell for sure.
Yeah.
What I think about him.
And was there a favorite? I know it's kind of hard to rank. We had 6 episodes or 7 episodes, I think. No, I can't remember how many episodes were. Nope, 6. There was only 6 episodes in season 1. I don't. It's probably not enough to rank. But did you have a favorite or not?
Well,
going from the opening one where he wakes up.
I guess the first couple episodes, because that was what really drew me in.
Yeah.
That was what kind of. I liked them all, but I think I'll just say the first couple ones because that's what got me to be really fascinated and want to watch.
And I agree 100%. My favorite episode of season 1 is the opening episode, okay. But I also like part 2. I also like the sequel. Episode 1 and episode 2 are my favorite. But number 1, episode 1 is my favorite of season 1. But there's the other ones were good. I wasn't the biggest fan of the CDC, but it did keep me. I was curious about what happens now. Once it blew up, I was wanting to get to the now what happens. So anyway, but that I can conclude season 1 follow up. We'll do a season 2, season 2A follow up, and then we're going to do reactions to the rest. Well, that'll be the fun part. So
that'll be a fun part.
All right. Well, that's it.
Yeah, I'm so glad I know about this show.
Yeah, I'm excited. Are you excited to see the rest of the... how excited are you right now on the scale of 1 to 10?
I'm probably 11 out.
11 out of 10. Got you hooked on it. All right.
I'm
okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.